Hello, Janine.
Hello, Ephesia. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Finally, after a lot
I know,
uh,
long time.
late,
We keep,
we was busy.
yes, we keep trying, and then something kept happening, but we're here now. Thank goodness.
Finally, we are here.
Yes,
So, ladies and gentlemen, Janine Linehan. Yeah, I pronounced properly.
Linehan, Linehan.
Linehan. Sorry, my pronunciation. Okay, Janine, I'm very curious. Everybody's curious to know your story. Tell me a bit of you, what the thing you do, who you are, what is your
My name's Janine
goals.
Linehan, and me and my other half, Matthew Dean Martin, at the moment, part of the task force that we have just set up for the people and by the people to basically start the ball going and the motion going into taking justice into our own hands. Because as you know, there is work going on. We can see it, we can hear it, we can feel it. It's all going on around the world, and there is every level that needs cleaning. On every level has their narcissists, their child abusers, their child sex predators. Every single level, whether you're at the child psychiatrist level, the police level, the expert report writers level, the court level, the politician level, and then the 13 police fact, they go up. There's levels. On our
Mm-hmm.
level, I believe it's our job, the people, to take justice into our own hands, because like you said before in previous talks we've had, we're leaving up to politicians that never do what they said they're going to do. They never, it's all an act. That's why it's acts of parliament, because they're telling you we're just acting. Get off your ass and do it yourself. you know we're actors. What do you expect of us? Parliament acts of parliament. They don't lie to us. We just presume and live our life on presumption and assumption. Now, I'm hopefully going to start some kind of movement going that, in Australia, they'll start their own task force. They'll appoint their own sheriff of their neighbourhoods, because they'll learn that only takes 13 people to make a council. They forget Jesus, with his 12 disciples, makes 13. He had a council. This is what we need to do. Every area, you can knock both your neighbours and say, do you want to form a council? We need to do something in a neighbourhood. There is this going on. There's children being taken. There's, all this crime and all this poverty. Why? Because we're giving our money to these acts of parliament. It is consent. We just assume and presume, because of the threatening letters they like to send, that we have to do this when we don't. If we just stood up and said, no, I do not consent, law is consent, they have to back off, because they start realising, we've got a awake one here, we've got a woken one, this one's alive, because at the moment we're all registered as dead people. Well, personally, I'm not, because I went to a lot of trouble, Officio,
Mm-hmm.
to prove. It was a lot of trouble to prove I'm not part of the CSVU Q Act, which you can all Google, CEISTUI, QUEVIE 1666 Act, which
Okay.
says that we are all lost at sea. Everyone is lost at sea to the Vatican. They are taking care of our affairs until we come back to claim our man and livinghood. I had to go to a coroner judge. What does a coroner judge do? Deals with the dead, yeah? I had to go to a coroner judge with my full powers of attorney and say I am back from the lost at sea. I'm alive and kicking. I'm coherent, and I'm more than capable of taking care of my own affairs. Stick that in your correspondence. And then I had to write to the Treasury and let them know, these are my banking requests. My personal information is private to me. I'm back from the sea. You do not handle my affairs. I've had to do a lot of proof to prove that I'm living. Hence your films like Walking Dead. Everyone is dead at the moment, registered as dead, lost at sea. They just don't know it. They show you in the movies like The Walking Dead and the
Yeah.
zombie movies and Resident Live, which really means if you turn live back, if you turn Resident Evil backwards, the evil, it means live. So because of our subconscious mind is fully aware of what we're reading, even though our conscious mind hasn't got a Danny, hasn't got a clue. Our subconscious minds can read the anagram, forward, backwards, every meaning within that word to know what they're really saying to us. It's just unfortunate through the programming, our main conscience, and you know, the one that we walk around and talk with, is unaware and unconnected to our subconscious and our unconscious mind. We've got three parts to our minds, and if they're not all functioning together, we're living in the matrix.
Yeah, of course.
We're living lost in the matrix. Don't even realise we're dead at sea. It's a
Yeah,
fact, you know.
I see even what's happened with, I mean, in England, I mean, in Great Britain was fortunate that it was mandatory, the vaccine.
Yeah.
But still, I know that in certain sectors, you know, like health, you know, in the other sector, they was obliged to do
Well, they
the
made you
vaccine.
think that, but if you look at the wording, mandate, mandate. They're telling you,
Mandate.
they're
Yeah,
telling you it's fiction. But we
yeah,
go along, assumption, and get our dose.
yeah.
I mean, it's all in the wording. The biggest corruption and the biggest conspiracy that no one picks up on is our language. You know, with mathematics, 2 add 2 is always 4. 4 add 4 is always 8. But when you're looking at language now, one definition for 50 different words, 50 different words for like one definition. You know, they've scrambled and it's called Babel from Babylon. They succeeded. You know, they succeeded in making sure that no one could communicate properly. So we could never have no legal standing. So we could never claim native to our land. You know, they even went as far as moving people around their own island and telling them they're from a different country. So you can never claim native standing to your own native land. Because when you're native to your land, you can claim land. They didn't want you to have that right. So they moved you to another country, or even in the same country, just around the other side of it. This is how the lengths they went to make sure we was entrapped in this matrix where we feed them. Because they're just parasites living inside our buttholes. That's all they are. Because without us, they've got no energy source. They've got no life force. They've got no money. We are the money. You know, we are not the debtors. We are the creditors. Because without
Exactly.
us, they wouldn't have nothing. It
Yeah.
is what it is. And the way they do it is through presumption and assumption, because people are scared of that letter. When if they looked at the envelope and they looked, they see their name was probably written in capital letters, capital postcode, it's for a corporation. A corporation is a dead component, hence the capital letters. You're taught that at school. You write your name in a lowercase because you're living. Hence the signature as well. You know, the signature is cursive language. Cursive is the language of the dead. You sign it in a box, that's your coffin. There's your cursive signature. Can't read it, don't know what it says. It's not an autograph. An autograph is a graph of life, authorization of your graph of life. A signature is a dead man tag. That's why you get a cross sometimes. Or what does that say? You're actually agreeing I'm a dead person without even knowing, but your subconscious mind's fully aware. That's why your conscious mind will read Resident Live and not Resident Evil. It will do it both ways, you know? It will read what Resident has. It was Resi, then it will read, you know, do you see what I mean? Our brains are the most amazing computers in the world. We've been just shut off from the most important part, as well as our third eye, as you know, with the pineal gland. It's part of your subconscious mind. It's part of your subconscious mind. So you can kind of realise how important that little cone is, you know?
Yeah.
That's your connection to your higher self, to your genie. They lie to us. They might want us to believe we're in an abundance, so we don't call on our genie. Your genie's not going to give you if you've already got. If you're saying, I've got this, I've got that, your genie's like, oh, you're cool then. But if you go, I wish to my genie, what they show you in the movies, your genie's in a little box at the moment, in that little lantern, because it's not being used. Do you see what I mean? If we just tap into our genies, we can ask for the abundance we need. It's starting
We
to come
saw
to me
we
now.
saw in we saw in Etheric with Oksana with our investigations. We saw many times. We many are just clones, and they're already living containers. You know,
Yeah.
this we have this physical container, and then we have other containers with these energetic ones. So I mean, just explain to the people that listen to us, even how certainly words they can trick us in the language. How the lawyer is always find a way
Yes.
to, unless you have a good money or come from a wealthy family,
Let's
even
just
to take away something is yours, like you says, a land, it can be important house in a very important road in London. If they
yeah.
decide is your, they want it, they take no matter how.
Because they're taking
So
it from a human, they're not taking it from living men and women for a start. You're lost at sea. You've got no legal standing. It's not hard
yeah.
for them. If you don't go back to a coroner with your full powers of attorney, because believe it or not, when you open a bank account, you
Hmm.
sign it over to the bank. That lawyer in that bank decides your medical care, your children's health care, where your children go to school, what kind of finances you get, even down to whether you get the job or not, even down to whether you get the mortgage or not. The lawyer in the bank decides all of that for you. He is your powers of attorney at the moment. Hence why you might have an expiry date when you're going to go, because they have your medication and then they take you on that day. It happened to my parents. I'm living proof. I'm living from experience. This is coming from my experience of 41 years, losing both my parents by the time I was 32 through the
Oh,
medical system. So I'm not just talking. Yeah, I'm going from
you've been there, and
I'm a 32-year-old orphan, and I regret every day that I didn't do more when I was young. When I wish I did knew now what I knew then. For instance,
I
my dad
mean,
had pancreas cancer, and ivermectin cured that. A little while ago, some gentleman had the same cancer. It's a quick killer. A tray of ivermectin, 2 trays of that, and he was cured. So yeah, I'm talking from experience at the same time. So
if you allowed me to say something, Janine, every single of us, they find the right time
yeah,
to use their own power, and in their own at the time probably wasn't ready.
yeah,
Maybe we didn't have even enough information to move like you know now. So
yeah,
every time they have the awakening, when is the right time?
yeah,
Okay, because probably yeah, you want. I want to do things that
yeah,
I regret, but then I says I'm a real regret, even if it was a mistake,
yeah,
because probably at that time was
yeah,
not the right time.
yeah.
So I
It's
know that you
dangerous
are.
for me to do what I was doing back then now. If I was doing now back then, I'd probably be dead, because most of them are. Any whistleblowers are. I mean, I'm a really big whistleblower, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got a lot of videos that I've whistleblown a lot of information. And if I'd done what I do now 10 years ago without, certain people being put in place for us to be a bit more free, I don't agree with what these politicians do, but we've had one put in place to set a ball rolling, I believe. I know he likes a bit of the glory, but I do believe certain things have been put in place for us to come out now and speak up and tell our stories and expose this wickedness. I can't even
mhm,
say evil, because evil means life backwards, and you don't want to give them life. Yeah, you don't want to give them life. You don't want to let them live. Sorry, you don't want to give them any life. So you want certain words. You're actually empowering them. Like even when people pray to the Lord, you're praying to Lord Batten. Didn't he molest children? Lord Fiona, didn't she molest children? But you're
mhm,
praying to the Lord, you're giving them your psychic and they know how powerful we are. They know our
mhm,
energy is contagious. And I know when
mhm.
we manifest and we meditate and we give these lords our energy, we're feeding them. So it's in their interest to lie to us and say they're lords and this and that Jesus was a lord. They put themselves up on these higher pedestals for us to and carry on feeding them when they're just parasites. They're not
Exactly.
parasites.
I know one of your biggest battle is child trafficking,
Yeah.
and I know that we are probably some in the near future we're going to see people exposed,
Yeah.
even the system exposed.
We're
I
gonna
know you are studying. You soon you will be
yes, task force with the judge.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah a judge.
Federal Chief Federal Judge, Postal Judge, and Planetarian, also Master Mina of the planet. He looks after the planet as well. He's appointed as the global judge. He's now set up a task force basically, and he's asked me and my partner, because he could see for the last 2 years I've been battling to expose as much as possible that I can do, and I'm also a natural investigator, a natural journalist, because I will dig every bit of information. I will stay up all night until I've got every clue to that case, because he can see the kind of passion I've got in what I'm doing. He said, look, I can't see anyone more that I'd like to put forward to head the task force. And now that we are registered as men and women, we are protected, because as you know, in the war, they could bomb anywhere where there were humans. But men and women were taken out. Men and women got a memo, get out of there. Men and women left to go to Florida, didn't they? From all over America, they ended up in Florida where the state was free. They were private men and women who got their heads up. You know, they can't touch men and women. Hence why sometimes when you join the army, your piece of paper will determine what part of the army you go to, whether you end up in the kitchen or on the front line or in the office with a nice tidy job. All from how your paperwork is written. It's so important that people realise how important your contracts are, because everything's a contract. Anything with a four corner is a court and a contract. We can hold court here. Do you see what I mean? They lied to us. They made us believe we need these big politicians and these people to hold our affairs for us. Men and women got lazy about 200 years ago, and they pointed government in place, or how many years ago they pointed a government in place. We got lazy. We let them take over. And then what happened? They got greedier. They got more narcissists. They compromised more. They got more paedophiles in there. Before you know it, we're in this mess. If men and women don't stand up, we're never going to get out of it. It is our job, because they can clear as many as they want, but they're going to keep coming back unless we're on top of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they can't. There's going to be another generation. These I can't even say hero, because hero is heroine. These saviours, let's call them. These saviours aren't going to be here in another 100 years, like Spanish flu. You see, and if they are, they're in another body. They took another vessel. You know.
So sorry if I, yeah, carry on. Sorry.
I truly believe that, you know, with sleep paralysis, it's all connected. I believe they're trying to get your vessels. You know, have you ever felt like you're having your soul ripped out of your body while you're sleeping?
Yeah.
That is them trying to take your vessel, because they know once they can pull you out, but you hold on. Do you know what I mean?
Women, they are attacked through the womb. This is why they have a lot. The women, they become depressed easily, because this is in her womb, which goes to the solar plexus. Men are basically they have to spread. I mean, this is the way they are used. Yeah. Yeah, because they put the seed.
If you think of it, we're portals from heaven.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a child enters our body, like, spiritually. The baby is started manufacturedly, like, but the spirit enters the mum's body, through her body, into the baby. So we are living portals, and that's why we've always been attacked, because they know our true power. We do have a lot more power with our spirit and our sixth sense and our third eye. We are much more in tune. And I've got to say more tuned, because in means no, more tuned. This sort of, I mean, that's the language fraud. We are tuned, and we have tuition. Because when you say intuition, you're saying no tuition. So you're just very, very, very powerful, because not even that's blocking you. But that does block the average person's tuition. When they say, well, my intuition, you're saying I've got no tuition. This is where they get you with the language. Witches even have their own language. Do you know how many dictionaries there are?
Yeah, like the word important you mentioned before.
Yeah.
The difference. Important
and then impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? But it's no on one word, but yes on another. That's fraud, because maths you can't hack. 2 add 2 is 4, 4 add 4 is 8. There's no hacking. The result is always the same. But we can't say that about our language. We can't say that at all. This is why David Wynne Miller and Mark Christian Christopher is exposing all the language fraud. And of course they get suppressed. They get bad mouth, they get all the bad press, because if we all started speaking this, you know, universal language, they wouldn't be able to con us ever again. Every word would mean the same thing. Do you see what I mean? That's why monkeys have the most clearest language. It's all vowels. Ah, e, ah, oh. It's all vowels. There is no disharmony. They might have a little fight over a woman, but there's no, like, they're killing each other, banging their heads off. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's all to do with our language. And if we could get past this language and form one word per meaning, one word per, you know, every word has the same different meaning for that one word, not 60 different meanings for that one word, or 6 different definitions for one word. That is the scramble. One word, one definition, done. This word means that, and only that. You know?
This is why in the news, in the newspaper, you know, they use always the same words. Even when we had the pandemic, there was a strategy, like a hypnotic words. Yeah, and these words, they become part of you, of your, you can starting to use. You repeat like parrots, yeah? I mean, because it's normal. People they start in the slang. I mean, words that we children, young people using now through
Mm.
songs, the newspaper. You
Yes.
know,
Programming.
5 years ago they didn't even exist, and
Yes.
they are introducing. But like you says, they you don't understand if you what is really mean, if
Yes.
it's yes or not.
You're just going to say it. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't know what it means, why are we saying these words? For instance, wicked used to mean it was wicked. Now they're going, oh, wicked, like it's good. They're doing it so you condemn the bad. I mean, you praise the bad and condemn the good.
Hmm.
It's a mirror world, basically. Everything is back to front and upside down and on its head. You know, and we've just got to unscramble it and realise the words that we speak are our bond. We're not only like talking to each other, we're also talking to our higher selves. You know, we're communicating on more levels than just speaking, telepathically and everything. We just don't look. I'm going all cold again. That's my spirit bumps. I get them when I'm on something important or something I need to know or something that needs to be heard. But I get them
Yeah.
when I'm on something important. So yeah, like what we speak is our bond. Our word is our bond. They never lied to us, so we have to be careful of what we put out there. You know,
Hmm.
and we don't realise we are big. Our own biggest blocks. They put us in a mind matrix. Let alone the
Hmm.
one we're living in. We're now in one in our mind as well because of the confusion, and there's no balance between your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, and your unconscious mind. You know, unless you get them on balance, we are kind of like a sitting duck going around in the forest, walking, you know, without unaware where we're going. You know.
Yeah, which is that that's very difficult to keep all in balance,
Mm,
mind, body, and soul, conscious,
yeah,
subconscious,
yeah,
in order because we are three, four things in one. We are always a consciousness
yeah,
cut in two, but in these two parts we have subconscious consciousness, then
yeah,
we have the physical body, we have the etheric body, mind, because we are in a human container thinking with a
yes,
human, which is the mind.
yeah,
Then we have our subconscious, which is the infinity, the
yes,
universe,
yes,
which is connect our third eye, which is the etheric part when this in spirit way we work
feel,
and we
yeah.
travel when we sleep, we travel,
Mm.
etc. So, I mean, what is your goal, Janine? Because I know that you cooperate with another YouTuber. Every Monday you do a program. If you
I'm
can
on
mention to
with
us.
Oh yeah, I'm on with David Zablick every Monday at 6 o'clock UK time, which is usually about 1 o'clock American time. And I'm also on with Mark most weeks now, part of the task force, because like I said, the task force is a new task force. It's going to be for the people, by the people, and sponsored by the people. And the votes will come from the people, you know, and the cases will come from the people. The evidence will be able to come from the people. And I'll be able to turn that over to the judge and the Navy, and we'll be able to get them hung by the neck if that's what they deserve.
That's
You
going to be
know,
a huge, definitely. That is
if that's what
huge,
they
big
deserve,
changement.
anyone that's touched a child in any sexual or barbaric way
Hmm.
isn't meant to be on this earth plane. I'm sorry, because there is no coming back from taking innocence like that from something so pure. They was not meant to be of this earth plane, and I
But
believe
what about is a underage do that, like a 13, 14 years old that been living in a very toxic home if he
that's
was
different.
abused?
That's a total different scenario. The child has been subject to that himself, and they will go into some program to help, try and heal. Because hopefully these med beds will be here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that's true. I mean, I don't know for sure if they're coming, but if these med beds come, then all these psychological damages can be fixed. But the ones that have gone that far and lost their soul to do things so soulless, the prison's not. They're going to get let back out. FSCI. How many times you hear paedophiles back out within a year?
Because they are predators.
Completely.
Obviously, we know that predators, sociopathic, psychopathy, they
I don't
kill
about them kind.
women, children, even persons, is they are predators. They are like, the reptilians, they go in and kill.
Yes.
And obviously, a child energy is the golden, is the purest. It's when this is why they
Right.
do lot rituals and experiment. People say even black magic stuff like that. But we know exist. You even mentioned to me that there is even a place in the underground of London where they do
Yeah.
trafficking.
Well,
Well, one day we're going to. I'm looking to visit you in September, and we're going to that place. We can do a little shot there,
yes.
and if it's possible, if you can find me some people they want to talk, they don't need to show their face. They can can tell their stories
Yes.
about what the institutions did. I mean, not didn't they
Got a few
benefit
around me. I've got a few
against,
cases around me. Yeah.
because sometimes I know there are a lot of people that help,
Yeah.
social workers. They have a big army of people, healers. They try their best with the best intention, but then you are basically sucked up in
Mm.
this vortex of the
Yeah.
system, yeah, and they threatening you. And we know stories.
Yeah.
Your partner was telling me some few stories that the next week we're going to do
Another
interview
one.
with him,
Yeah.
even with you, because he was interested to do our sessions. We can, going to put you in trance, and maybe we're going to connect with these high energies.
Yes, brilliant.
If you're
That'd be
interested,
brilliant because
yeah.
he's very spiritual as well. He's very in tune. He gets downloads and stuff. And it's
Mhm.
like, don't stop me. This needs to be said. And he knows that it needs. He's very in tune. That's why we've been together 14 years. You know.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can
because
tell he's
there's
a very nice guy. He's a
I need
very good
his
guy.
protection now. If he wasn't here right now, I don't think I'd be able to expose as much as I expose. Because if you did check my channel out on Rumble and on BitChute, Rumble is Patriot J9 on Rumble, and on BitChute it's Janine Linehan, my name. But if you check them videos out, you'll see how much I've been exposing that led me to this moment.
Exactly.
I've all the videos.
I can put it down in the
Yeah,
comments, guys.
thank you.
Janine Linehan, YouTube channel, and her email if somebody would like to connect directly with her, and check even her program, her show Monday 6 o'clock
Yeah,
UK time with David Zuckler,
yeah.
uh,
Okay, time.
and then with another one with another guy.
If you look on Mark's channel, you'll find a lot of us on there because we're part of his university students. Plus, now he's put us forward in the task force. We'll be going on every Monday to expose what we found and, or certain cases that we're working on and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll have some kind of thing for the public to show them what we're doing.
exactly.
So they can see where their money's going and what's been happening since their input. Because it is a team effort, it is a
Yes.
public for the
Do you
people.
st- do,
People, yeah, for the people. Sorry.
do you say that we can going to have a big news in the soon
Yeah.
regarding the people who will be exposed,
Yes.
uh,
It's not nothing.
finally.
It's people that's done FGM, all that female genetic mutation, anyone that's involved in that as well, because it is illegal in most countries. They just keep slipping it under the back door. They call it cutting season when all the mums send their children home to Africa and Egypt and Islam and all these different cultures that still do the cutting. And let me just tell you that they don't use anesthetic. They don't use anything to numb the area. They just get scissors out a lot of the time, and they just chop and they scalpel newborn babies a lot as well. They're trying to say it's 13 and upwards and it's consent. It's not. These kind of people that mutate, because what they don't realize on a spiritual level, your subconscious mind can feel every cut. And even your other, obviously you can feel every cut without the anesthetic anyway. But even when you go under in theatre, what's a theatre? It's telling you, we're going to play with you while you're down there. You're in theatre. Don't go to theatre, guys, whatever you do, yeah? Because if they want something else while they're there, through your mortgage, which is a death pledge in every language, but French don't call it a mortgage because it means death pledge, So it's a death pledge, and if they need any organ in there while you're under having a kidney removed, they'll take something else, or you might just not wake up because they needed something that you wouldn't wake up from. This is what they do with a mortgage. This is what Mark's trying to clean up at the moment, because most of the money at the moment that's keeping them going, i.e. the deep state, is mortgage payments and their death pledges, because they still own the people that own the death pledges on you, not the house. You see, and it's on your children. So when you sign for that death pledge, you've just said, I'll give you my life. Take me when you want. Do you see what I mean? This is how evil, this is how wicked the world is. See, I can't even unprogram myself from saying certain words, because they put it in our TV, in our subconscious mind, in our vicinity, all our lives, that we end up speaking this language. It's hard. It's hard to overcome certain words. Even God means dog backwards. Like Eid. What does Eid mean backwards?
Exactly. It's
You know?
it's very interesting. Do you think there will be a new dictionary
There is
for
one already.
people.
It's, David Wynne Miller's done a dictionary. He was actually abducted when he was younger. He's passed on now. He was abducted when he was 8 and he was given this language. And he was told this is going to be the new language of the world to get the world free. It is the freedom language. You cannot, and when we test the government with it, they shite themselves because they have not got their own language. They tell you what they want to tell you without claiming any language. You're meant to have plain simple English, plain simple counting system. You're meant to state what language you're speaking. From the Cambridge, Oxford, no one states what language they're speaking. It's all presumption and assumption. That's what the government run on. You know,
There
when
will
they
be
start giving factual stuff to a fictional place, they crumble. This is all
mhm.
we need to do, guys. It's not as hard as what we think it is. We just need a lot more doing it. You know?
Regarding this new world, I agree because I read already and experience even in our investigation with Oksana. There will be a new world for sure,
Yeah.
where will be probably a different even way to communicating with people. There will be everybody. They will be free finally to study their own power,
Yeah.
and they
Which
don't
will
choose.
work.
You don't need to give all your power to external like we do now, right now, to politicians, to banks, and
Exactly.
etc. etc. You're going to be you going to
Encourage
you
yourself.
own your body
Yeah.
finally.
Yes,
Uh,
all of you, every
yeah,
part of you. Because I'll tell you why you can check, guys, at home. Get your post together. Get all your posts. Make sure you try not to open it if you can as well. Get all your posts together so you can see the addresses and your names. See how many times your name is spelt and look different. Whether it's higher case, lower case, whether they use both your middle names, one of your middle names. Look how many times your name was wrote
yeah.
different.
My name was spelled many times different.
Every
Eh,
time you count, that's a different corporation open out there and your name. That's what they do because they're writing to a different version of you, your straw man, and that's how you know how many. I've got about 9 because I've counted all my posts together, and each time they open a new corporation, they'll change your name slightly, or they'll change the way that they will write your name. You know, they'll have it lowercase on your first bit and the higher case at the bottom on your surname, or they'll have both your middle names. They'll do it a little different, just a little snag different. They might have a miss in front, they might not. They might just have a JL Linehan. They might just have J Linehan. They might have it all in lowercase. They might have it all in higher case. There is so many ways they can trick your name around. And that's how you know. And that's through the CSQV Trust in 1666. They own your being. They own you. So they open as many corporations as they want in your name. They own you.
I was curious, no, I read why they put this name. I can even say, okay, if you put a spell a wrong name, with that my name is different because we have for the contract,
Yeah.
I refuse then to pay my bills then.
Don't pay them. You've done the right thing. You just circle where your name is and you'll put wrong name. You'll circle the postcode because it 99.9% of the time is in a higher case, in capital letters, your postcode. That is a corporation. Every time they write to a higher case, like full capital postcode, corporation every time. We residents, as in people domestic, have lowercase postcodes. Like we have lowercase names. We're not even Mrs. Mrs. is military. Do you see the frauds? We're even calling ourselves Mrs. We're not Mrs. We're just
I
Janine.
understand. Yes, the fraud as well is that they try now to avoid to send mail by paper.
Yes.
And what they do is, example, you got a telephone or you got other. They says you have to go inside of the website. They don't send you anymore
Online.
the email to give you the details. Or your month you pay this and this and this, like as it should be. Because if you send me monthly the statement, why you don't send me monthly by email if it's electronic? No,
More
you
fraud.
have to go inside
More
the
proof, innit?
website. The people that get bored, they don't even check what is really going on.
You know what they're going to do? Blame electronics, because here's a piece of paper that's proof. Yeah, here's a piece of paper
Yeah.
that's proof of what you're saying. The computer can be hacked. I tell you what they're scared of. They're scared of people discovering this. See that? That's your seal. That is your proof of life. When you put a thumbprint next to your autograph, which means you're alive, next to an autograph, you've just claimed back that you're alive, because only you have that one seal, these fingerprints, only you. This is where our creator made no hacks. He made us unhackable through these fingers. You use your thumbprint You start autographing. You do not leave a signature. You cross out signature. You put autograph, and you write your name so you can read it. And you 4-colon it. You know the 4 colons, the 2 dots? That means fact. You put 4-colon Janine, 4-colon Linehan, dot. Close it off so they can't add nothing with the full stop. And you put your thumbprint on it. There is your autograph and your proof of life. No one can hack your thumbprint.
Exactly.
Unless now, where they can now, because they've got your but it's on you. You know, you're taking this around with you. But obviously, thanks to the iPhones,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. The same with Snapchat. Let's be a dog. Would you give your face to CIA? Well, they got it now. Do you know what I mean? Thanks to us wanting to be dogs on Snapchat. They've just grilled your whole face. They've got your thumbprint from. They're trying to. There's many ways of keeping this going. You know?
I never do this. In fact, the
Yeah,
Snapchat
I didn't
apparently
do
is.
Snapchat or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I Instagram, but I didn't ever do the photo things. Luckily enough, you know. But actually, I did when my daughter was young because I didn't know then. So yeah, but my face has changed in 7 years, thank God. But yeah, they do it to us all. I mean, they've got us on a CCTV. You know, you walk in Asda, you know, we're everywhere. They're everywhere. The cameras are everywhere. And now, thanks to Facebook and places like that, they can face recognition you. If you aren't registered on anything like that, even though you're walking through these cameras, they can't face recognise you. Do you see what I mean? But they can once you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they have to look up, you know.
I started to ask myself. I mean, we are getting less and less privacy. We are getting less and less freedom. Is we are many people they think because they're living in the matrix that they are free, but we're not.
We're far from free.
It's
That's
just
why it's important people look at that CSQ trust fund. Why they go and look at that paperwork. When you read it in black and white, what it says lost at sea. They are taking care of us all. And the only way to come from that is to go to a coroner judge, which is the place of death, to prove you're alive. I'm living proof of this. I'm talking from experience. I had to do that. I had to say, you take this and you put this in your correspondence. He was scared to talk to me because I don't know what they've been doing in that court, but I'll probably get round to it at some point because that's my new job. But they didn't want to come and talk to me. And every time they want to sit down or stand up, because they can't be on a geometric level playing field with you and lie because it's 7 years automatically. We have a geometric level playing field. They're hiding it from us. You know, they're making us think that they're up there and we just do what we're told. You know, and unfortunately, because we've been made to be human and class ourselves as anything but a man or woman, you know, with these new non-binaries, and that's so you have no legal standing. They want you to be transgender. They want you to be non-binary. That way you have no legal standing. You can't claim any land. You can't claim any funds. You don't even know who you are. You know, they want to mutate you for the same reason.
So what do you think about this new the generation that many people they don't want to call he or she or we?
They've been heavily programmed by
Yeah,
your
I
system.
think that is another.
They think that they can be their own people, which is fair enough, which good luck, but you also lose your legal standing as a man or woman. And therefore, if they want to take you out, they will, because you have no power left. Because those with no legal standing, even when you tick a black man box, you've just modified the man. You've modified the fact and made it a non-fact. Hence now you are no legal standing. You're a black man. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. It doesn't matter what shade you come in. Once you put something in front of that and tick Irish man or black man or green man, you've just modified that fact. And everyone knows in contract law, you modify a fact, you turn it non-fact. And that's what they're doing with anyone making you tick that box. Black man, white man. No, you're just a man and you're from England nation. You're not from UK because that's another business, that's a corporation. England, in British Isles, that's another business. You're from England nation. You're from native to England land. That's it. All these different names is just to confuse us. It's just so we don't get no legal standing. So we can't claim the land. But you heard my partner say, there's not many people that own the land because not many people are registered as men and women. We're all lost at sea. We're all in the Vatican, lost at sea.
Wow.
You can look at my number, I think numbers 8 or 9, might even be 8 or 9, I think I covered in my Conspiracies No Longer Theories. I covered the Vatican and what happens with all our birth certificates, and it's factual information on what the Vatican have done. Did you know the Vatican know from your past life what trouble you're going to be in this life? That's why I've probably been flagged, FSCR. I don't know who I was in a past life, but I've been flagged all the way along. I've been very suppressed through my whole journey in exposing, even though I've got 43 videos. I mean, I do get a few views, but I've been very exposed. I've been shut down. Accounts have been having to build up, drop. I've been playing snakes and ladders, basically. Just I build a following, bang, it's gone. Just I build a following, bang, it's gone. Because I've got so much information that they don't want out there.
We can go to talk if you want in that episode. We talk about this story about the Vatican.
Yeah.
If you collected any even witnesses, because I know entities. I mean, when people leave the body, apparently I heard to some people says don't go to the light because the light is where we sign again a contract. Okay,
Yes.
just agreeing. So you have to go opposite way because if you go to the light that everybody think, oh.
It's a fake
Angels, they see all these.
Force you to come back near enough, make
Yeah.
you feel needed because they need to siphon you again. Because we're
Yeah.
back. We're
Basically,
back.
they put you in a state to forget everything. This is a process, and etc. etc. But if you go to the opposite way, it's like no. Sorry, this time I decide to walk on my own. I don't go to the light. I go even if the dark, if it's possible, but I'm going to find out because at the light at the moment is not bringing so much. I mean, when I say the word light, I would like to
I know what you mean.
to be precise. Here is the light is healing, is the bright light where we aliens, because we are aliens, because we are whatever they call in the language here humans, but we are souls in a human's body. Where we come from is a beautiful place with what we generated ourselves. This is my bright light. This is my golden light, my rainbow light. There is a different light when we go in spirit of lights. We have to be careful the difference because spirit of lights sometimes they're not the good. The angels they are labors. They all work for make you believe that you're going to find paradise, hell, all the stuff that is still a matrix. And it's true. They basically every being inks, when we go to reptiloids, the greys, humanoids, with they are all these beings that they look like humans, but they are like they look like a body, like a human body, but they are, with the costumes. They are long, big heads, or they can be the greys. The greys, we know that they are the aliens, which are the one that they work in the labs, reptilians, insectoids. Then we have the animaloids, where they are like all with the resembles an animal like a bear. We have all, and everybody work in the way they want to get close to us, to believe in our dreams, in our dreams. Exactly.
Whether it's work, whether it's spiritually, whether it's emotionally, whether it's, every single emotion that we got, they siphon any food source, we're just food. We are food.
Yeah,
whether
we are
young,
food.
whether we're old, we are food source to those that can't create energy, to those that can't create money, to those that we are their money, we are their energy, we're their life force, and without us,
Exactly.
and that's the problem.
The important thing is to understand here is that the consciousness knew at this because consciousness is perfect. So we created in our world, we created the God for humans, yeah? So we don't know what is because if God is human, why send us here? And then what we say is perfect, because if the God is perfect, that it doesn't create imperfect people. Okay, that is dualistic. This is the trick here. Many people they don't understand this way to think, but because the consciousness it was curious, the conscious to say, let's see how we can be living in the planet with dualistic woman, man, good, bad, consciousness with this negative and positive. The only way to have the experience, because consciousness is perfect, it has everything. This is the real God, okay? The consciousness, okay, where is something that for us is too big because we are limited. We like or not, we are limited in a inorganic
Form.
body.
Yeah,
Yeah. But even when we leave our body, it's not easy to know everything.
yeah. No, of course not. I think if we did know everything, it would be. I think we'd be on a different reality somewhere. We have a different reality somewhere, because here is a learning centre. I
Mhm.
believe this is where we're here to learn and feel, and I do believe we are meant to feel, to have pain without recognising, without feeling that pain. How do you know you was really happy? But there's extents, all the torture, all the child, nah, I don't believe in any of that. I believe you might have to have a little squabble in there because you spent too much time with your partner. Yeah. But when it comes to harming others, physically, mentally, emotionally, we've got to draw a line.
Mhm.
We've seen enough now, We've seen enough to last us another million lifetimes, as far as I'm concerned. And it's time for this to draw. If people want to beat the shit out of each other as adults, that's up to them. But leave the kids alone. Leave the children and the young ones alone. Other than that, I don't really care what people do.
I mean, we know that if they want control, if they want to keep the world that they created,
Mm,
which is power, money, blood,
mm,
war, is to attack the children because you have to erase from a child, which has a part of his memory in his container, yeah, or a container as a child, as
yeah,
memory. Is
yeah,
the child he remembers.
exactly.
Basically, when you're starting to teach the child,
Mm,
which is in the new world where the will going to use his telepathy skill, to
yeah,
use his self-healing skills,
yeah,
to use their own intuition, whatever we want to call,
yeah,
the child doesn't need
yeah,
anymore
yeah,
to have to believe that is nothing, that is worthless, because they're going to create this mechanism when every children they will go in, like
they'll be
the
nurtured in their
dolphins.
own journey. They'll be nurtured in their own specific journey, and not one test for 600 children in that year. Not one test for, I don't know how many, 2, 3, 4,000 children that year have the same test. What, they've all got the same capabilities? They all get that one test with the same questions on? No,
Exactly.
each child will be nurtured to their own capabilities of who they are meant to be. I believe that is the way forward. Why is my son wasting all his time learning cricket if he doesn't want to play cricket? Or why is he learning all that science if he doesn't want to be a scientist? Give him the basics and move him on. Don't give him 6 years of science when he doesn't want to be a scientist. Do you see what I mean? This is the new way. We homeschooling, because government schools are government schools. And unfortunately, government, state trafficking is real, and unfortunately it's from them. It comes from every level. Whichever level you go to, there is some there, and you can't escape it without clearing it. It's got to be cleared now, and this is what hopefully the future will bring. We clear them all out, and then we get to the place where we can have community schools where a couple of ladies are teaching, like they're local, and say, well, I'll take the class this week. And you nurture the children to their own abilities. You nurture what they're going to be. You nurture who they're going to be. Not nurture loads of things in them that they don't need. Fill up all their head with
Exactly.
nonsense,
It,
and then they've not got no room left to learn the important things. That's what they're trying to do to people. Scramble your head with nonsense. So when you see the truth, you don't even know it's hit you in the face. You
in,
know?
I- in Italy, they study in the old Latin, which only people that want to be priests they study. It's like, oh
Only
gosh.
please, but they're going to learn secret language, yeah? Sounds like
Yeah, or all the Greek, which they use in at the like in at the time of Ulysses, with the Troy War, etc. It's like, I mean, it's important to know where we come from, but the new world, we
yeah,
could even to study the history of the big scam, the big expose that where they says when we were slaves, before we have the slaves
yeah.
physically, but now we are mentally slave.
We've all been
Okay.
slaves. We just don't realise because they show us another slavery. They show
Yeah,
the black people
exactly.
in chains, and it's all backwards. Like, if you really know
Yeah,
the truth,
now
it's
is
slavery.
that the people have to wake up. This is
We are
why
slaves. It's
they
all to
create,
do with us. Yeah.
and when we are very close to the truth, they create new programs,
Yes.
the confusion. They try to distract
Non-binary.
and create. Now we have the war. So the war is, remember, the
Mm.
war is created by these evil people. They call leaders, which I don't have any respect. This is
Yeah.
me. I take responsibility what I say. and they don't care about people. So because they created a war, they never hurt each other, the
Mm.
big people.
Yeah, no, of course they don't.
Who they die and kill their women, children, and family men, So this is the people that die, the soldiers. For what? For these greedy, fat,
Yeah,
disgusting
lazy.
entities with
Mm.
a human body.
And usually
No
paedophiles and
one, no
rapists. Yeah.
one for me
Mm.
is a good Trump is a saver of children, or
Yeah,
Biden is better, or
yeah,
Putin, or Zelensky. Everybody
yeah.
have this like
Or
contract.
agendas of their own kind of thing, their own agenda a lot of the time, you know.
Exactly.
Are they really for the people? Is it for the fame, or is it for the, the savior title, or is it just do it for the kids?
So if
Do it
there
for
was a
the kids. That's
community,
it.
like I always says, a community, the children they are teach
Yeah.
since they come in this world,
Mm.
how good they are, and they learn the synchronization, how to work, how respect
Yeah.
your friend, your neighbor, the guy that is you don't have to be better than him or her,
Exactly. We're meant to be
okay?
this
For
geometric.
running better than you. It says,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm running better. What you do? Oh, I can, I don't know, I can do pictures. Everybody they have their own, and they
Yeah.
are respected, but they teach you to be competitive with
With
each
each
other
other.
to create
But you don't look at them. You don't
yeah,
watch them.
antagonism. Yeah, so it's,
We're too busy squabbling between us that we don't see the narcissists that are taking over our planet and our countries. And if we don't stop them ourselves, they're just going to be there show and tell for the rest of our lives. And they're
mhm.
going to be taking our children. They're going to be, torturing children, because the way the system works is without them being tortured, without them being abused, they don't get the little big pharma adults, do they? With mental health. They don't get their mental health claim. They don't get the psychiatrist that needed. They're not in the family courts losing their children because they've got mental health. They want you to have mental health to take your children. So they need to get that on you as soon as possible. They've tried to get it on me. So what have you got me for? Well, come on then, show me I'm mental. They can't, because they've got nothing to go on with me.
The
But
mental
because
health
you're family,
here,
you're flagged. You're flagged
exactly.
from your family. Unfortunately, your grandma, your mum, your flag continues. They come and mess with you. I know this because my cousin has lost 3 of her children due to the system. They took one. She was actually physically raped on the second one. They took that one, and on the third one, they didn't even let her cuddle. They just took her, ripped her from her arms. So I know
What?
this is. They take the children because they're children of the state. Because they got a birth certificate, they could take what children they want. And they
So,
didn't have. I've got them back to rights. They've stolen children here. It's a straight and forward
so
case.
why they took her from her mother? What was the reason, to the public?
Because she was 16 and didn't know she was pregnant and wasn't ready to be a mum. But she never said that. That's what they said. And because her mum was flagged from she's a certain daughter from someone that is a satanic family and they are known to the system, she was flagged from her mother, being from the nan is satanic. She's flagged from, so the certain families are flagged, and it's a feeding ground. If you're protected by your mum and dad, like I was, God, thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. I was brought up in a bubble, so I was protected by my mum and dad. But if you've got one parent, you're more vulnerable, And unfortunately, because of who her family was, she was also flagged, and they took her children. She was also put in care when she was a child, and said her mum was mental health. And then later on, they needed her not to be mental health. They told her she didn't have mental health, and this is what they do. So I've got them on quite a few lies, and we're going for our 3 children at the moment, because we know them 3 children have been split up into two with one with another. We don't know who the foster parents are, and we all know the foster parents are usually abusers a lot of the time, because it starts a cycle going for the big pharma adults to come, and we all know why they do it, because if you come up in a normal home, you don't get mental health. You don't really get mental health if you don't have the mental torture. I've got nothing that gone apart from losing my parents, which was torture. I was an adult when it happened. I didn't have any you see what I mean? I didn't have to go, oh, I've never gone to a doctor with a problem like that, because spiritually I must have been always aware. You say you've got depression, you say you've got anxiety, mate, that's it. They're on you. Medication. Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean?
They don't even questioning, you know. They don't even ask you. They just give it
They
to
just
you.
give it to you.
Like
Give it to you.
sweets.
Oh, you need this. Oh, you. If they can get 3 or 4 down here, they get 3 and 4 down here because they're all chemicals and none of them are legal science. Such a thing as legal science and pharmaceutical. Now, legal medicine and pharmaceutical medicine. And one has been gone through all the science, which is legal medicine. It's gone through all the checks. It's proven to work. You know, you've had 10, 20 years studies on it and it's worked. Pharmaceutical medicine, no proof, no facts. It's sorcery. Pharmaceutical means sorcery. They're not lying it to you. They're telling you. If you want to check what pharmaceutical means, by all means, go ahead and see what it really means. But it means sorcery originally, back in the day. So they reword it, but it still has the same meaning, hence the fraud in our language. It also means this, it also means that. You know, there's our fraud in our language. It means psychiatrist means sorcery, it also means medicine.
Mm-hmm.
See how many different words for one definition? They've scrambled our whole process of our brains, and that's why we find ourselves in like a Loch Ness with the monsters.
So, do you see any difference between the judge, the one you are studying, with a goal, with a definite to make changes, with a normal lawyer, barrister?
That's what I wanted to say. Guess what solicitor really means? When you get arrested in the movies, say, because I know me and you are not, but if you're a lady of the night, yeah, and you get arrested for prostitution, what do you get arrested with? Soliciting.
With sorry?
Soliciting.
Soliciting.
Solicitors are prostitutes, just a different form. They're still raping your money out of you. They give me a £5,000 bill for coming in my house. At least the prostitute would give you a happy ending. You know, I'm not giving them £5,000 because I literally forensic their document and showed them all the fraud on it, sent them back. I haven't heard from them since. But yeah, they wanted to come to my house. I've got a story here for you, actually. Right. So I made a discovery. The house that I live in, yeah, they say the council own it, yeah? No dead corporation can own land. So I questioned my council through my training. I said, I'd like to meet the owner, please, of this property. Seeing as I've been paying rent for 19 years, I request to see the owner, who I'm paying the money to. Oh, sorry, we can't, through data protection, we can't show you that. I said, I'm a customer and I don't believe you own my house. So I believe that you are taking rent for a house you do not own. Guess what? I checked HM Land Registry, HM, Her Majesty's Land Registry, checked my address. It says it's freehold. And when I press freehold, what does it mean? Press freehold, it says free to live indefinitely without payment of rent.
Wow.
I've been taking for 19 years. I'm exposing this as well. I've got loads to expose. So for the last 19 years, I'm fighting my housing trust at the moment. Housing trust, yeah. For 19 years, backdated rent, plus compensation, plus interest for holding my money that long, for not being able to prove that they own my property. Because I'm a customer. I can prove that I bought this and I own it. And I can tell you where I got it from, because it's got the name there, Asda. Yeah, I want to know who owns this house that I'm paying for. I'm a customer, I'm paying for it. Why can't you provide to me your document, your contract to say that you own my house? I'm going to be, trust me, once I break this code, I'm going to bring it for all, because everyone's houses, it seems to me that I've checked so far, check your houses, guys, HM Land Registry. Everyone I've checked so far, it says free to live. It says freehold. And the only ones that are leasehold mainly is the flats. And even then, unless the man or woman that's standing here like this, alive, is on there to say that they own that place, then they own that too. Because the chances are they've come by them properties, the councils, come by them properties by fraud, because what they do, you're a builder, you want to build some flats. You go to the council, want planning permission, yeah? They don't own the land. So they go and ask for planning permission. They go, you know what? You can have that plot, but if you build 10 houses, I want a third. That's how they get their properties, through fraud. They've taken them, yeah? The man done all the labour and they've given them the property just to be able to build there, but the council never owned the land in the first place. This is how they do it. So when you check your place, you check yours as well later. I bet you, is you in a house or a flat?
I'm a flat, but I have a private landlord.
Oh, you have a private landlord. You have a
Yeah.
private landlord. Well, not sure about you because he's probably bought your property.
Uh,
But anyone,
yeah.
if he's still alive and he's claimed, still check though. Still check. Just check HM Land Registry, and you'll see it be the .gov one, .gov.uk. Put your address in there. It's literally start now, postcode. Scroll down to the number of your house on that street. Press it, and it'll say freehold or leasehold. If it says freehold, the chances are you own that property, especially if you're in a council, housing association, any property like that that's not private property. The chances are that that land goes to the living man or woman living in it. Because no
Okay.
dead corporation can own land. If the dead could own land, then we would have nowhere to live. It'd be already pre-owned 100 years before, 200, do you see what I mean? So how can these dead corporations that are run by the government, that are owned by the people, own any houses? They can't. They're physically not allowed to own houses because they're a dead corporation. And there isn't a living man at the top of that corporation that owns the corporation because it is government owned. And we own the government. So therefore it's the people's houses. It's really like, I know it's hard to get your head around, but we actually own the houses we're in, most of us. And a lot
Yeah.
of us buying houses off the council that don't even own them.
It's good to know all this information, especially for people that they've been struggling for many years, that
Yeah.
they struggle to basically survive with all these bills and taxes. I mean, I got a lot of respect for my landlord; he's a very nice person, and I have nothing to really. Probably I'm even the one, the luckiest
Yeah.
one after this inflation. People, the money rents they got higher, and it's difficult really. I mean, my goal is to buy a house one day, but with the
Don't do
price we
that with
have.
mortgage. Don't do
Yeah,
that. The chances
mortgage.
are you're owed a house anyway. You'll be getting a house. I don't think you need to worry about buying one because we're owed a lot of money, and I do believe a lot of money is coming back to the people. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, and I don't believe in the Zara Jazara too much. But I do think that there's going to be an easy system to set up to get yourself off. Because, like I said, it was quite hard for how I done it. I had to go to a coroner to prove I was alive. And if you haven't done that, you are lost at sea. I'm sorry to break it to you. You can
Hmm.
check the trust that I said in 1666, the CSQ trust. It's there, black and white, says it plain as day. And the fact that we do sign a birth certificate, there's another proof. What do we get? The copy. We don't get the original. The original is sold. Yeah. Otherwise, why have we not got the original? You know, I don't get a copy of this water. This is the original water. Why is there a copy of me? Why my
Exactly.
copy? You see what I mean? Like, it's there in our face. We just pretend that it's not. We just ignore it, or we just don't want to pick up on it. Or our subconscious mind is so like too outblown by our conscious mind through all the programming. We just can't connect with it to actually see the
Exactly.
truth, you know? But now it's becoming clear, it gets so clear. I can actually see every little trick play, like acts of parliament. They're telling you we're actors. We're just
Hmm.
actors. Don't blame us.
When I go to my house, definitely I ask your
Yeah,
opinion.
definitely. Do not do a
Because
death pledge. Do
no,
not do a death pledge.
because people this is what they want, with the mortgage, with this many, many, many years. When I feel that it's possible to have a house,
Mm.
but I mean, 20 years paying, 25 years a mortgage, which is huge, huge interest. It's like we've never been free. And they
They're
can
never
take your
free.
house anytime.
Anytime
After
they
10, 15
yeah.
years paying.
They're playing with you from there. From the moment you sign that, they're playing with you. They are playing with you. They want to know what they can chuck at you next. Don't forget they can see you through your phones. Like, they can get all kind of information. They look through your Facebook to see how much you're worth to them. Honestly, it's a process. They put bids on you, find out how much you're going to be worth to them as a married couple for your wedding certificate, wedding registrar contract. That's another copy you're getting.
Is
You know,
this
they get that too.
rules? Is
Mm.
these rules, Janine? They are the same like in England, Italy, Europe, or in USA, Canada. Is the same?
Group of people. Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
it. I believe it's to do with the Vatican and the Crown, them, and the Indian company that are still very quiet, but they're there. The Indian
Yeah.
corporation. There's always an Indian in the government, isn't there? You know, and he's one of the most powerful ones, believe it or not. You know, they put their little joke up front like Boris, but he's not doing as much. He's not doing the damage. The one behind him being quiet is doing the damage. You know.
So, what do you think about Boris' resignation?
Oh, good luck. I see it as part of the movie, and it's a sign it's nearly over. Because what they're trying to tell us is we've been living in a fictional world all our life, and this is the end of the fiction world. This is the end of the mirrored world, and soon we're only going to see it one way. The mirror is going to shatter. Like Dorian Gray, the mirror is going to shatter, and he's going to get old and die. You know,
Hmm.
they're going. And this is, this is the Great Awakening. We knew it was coming from. I knew it was coming from 2012. I thought it was happening in 2012. And when 2012 it was quite quiet, really, I was like, oh, this is what I expected. But boom, 2020 happens, and here we are. But we knew it was coming. All those with tuition and insight to the spiritual kind of realms. We all had that feeling of something big was happening from 2012, and then every year some tension built up, and I didn't know what was coming until 2020, and that's when I knew, boom. I knew
Hmm.
straight away I knew it was a con straight away, because I worked as a key worker at the time, looking after young people in care. And while everyone was on lockdown, I'm a key worker. So I was out seeing no ambulances, no fuss, no. It was like The Walking Dead. It was like the streets were zombified. There was no one on the streets, and and I knew that a pandemic, you would hear sirens constantly. You would hear emergencies. Not one emergency throughout the whole pandemic. That's funny, isn't it? But people still want to put on a mask and jack themselves up. You know?
Yeah, they created a very good strategy
Yeah,
to now to go ahead because people says okay, there are definitely a big they wanted to create economic
I,
crash, a disaster, and the pharmaceutical
yeah. For rich.
corporations, they are is the most richest at the more than even if you sell petrol.
Yeah, yeah,
Bill Gates, all these people, Soros, this Bill
yeah,
Gates that is just a pure evil man.
yeah,
Basically, you can't believe with the vaccines and all these, let's say, uh, you want to they create this
yeah.
dramatic
The propaganda and all the
propaganda,
fear
fear.
mongering. Mm,
And in Italy was mandatory. The over 50 years old, you have to do the vaccine. If you know you're going to find you.
mm,
That is, people complain about this country, but
yeah,
go to Italy or
yeah,
France.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
You
been
even you was even suspended from work. Discrimination, totally, completely nuts. And
yeah,
now in Italy, which I feel embarrassed
mm,
to a nation with this still have the same
problem.
disgusting people because in Italy you can you can be a politician forever and have
Really?
all your two generation living with all the money by paid for the tax
Yeah,
payers, and this they're taking the piece. In Italy says they we on top of you, and they says it's raining.
yeah,
Okay, and this people believe they are all the same people. And Italy was a party which we know is a matrix. Even the politicians, they
yeah,
says, okay, um, we want that in Italy there will be only two mandatories. Basically, in the parties you can be 5 years and 5 years, two times. What you call? You can't stay more than two times.
Oh, okay. You get two terms. Two
Two
terms.
terms. Sorry, I
Yeah,
couldn't find the
yeah,
word.
yeah.
Two
You,
terms. But
two
in
4 year,
Italy,
two 5 year terms.
we have the same people. They are like 40 years in politics. They
Oh,
look at you from top of the head that you are crap.
that's why no change happens. Same people. Yeah,
Exactly. And the
yeah,
people, they're still fighting in Facebook, defending these people that never work in their own life. They even counted how many days in a year they've been in the parliament. And they was always on holidays doing different things. And they take like 25,000 euros a month. For
that's
what?
ridiculous. Yeah,
That is
yeah. Because
even the politicians, the English politicians, they pay less,
yeah.
like 5,000
I
maximum.
don't even
In
know
Italy, all 20, 25, 15. For
what the
what?
electors.
Just to push a button. They just use for pushing a button when they are, and they mix up. They go, it's like laborists, they go into the conservatories.
Yeah,
No, 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 I don't like conservatives
we'll go
anymore.
back there now.
I
Yeah.
go to the green, I go to the
Wherever,
laborists
wherever
again.
it is, they just move the damage around. They do
Yeah.
damage there, and then they'll have to be moved there, and then they do damage there, and they'll have to be moved back there. And sometimes they come back with a different face. Sometimes they
And,
come back with a different name. Sometimes
and they Exactly. They are always the same people.
Same people.
This is what I ask. If I started to understand why, before I remember, I was arguing, people attack me in Facebook, they call me names because I was this, because I was for the freedom. Then I realize they're all the same.
Yeah,
You are part of the game. They
you are
want
part
you
of
to
the
do
game.
that because you feed them,
You're
These
feeding
people
them.
are in these golden castles. They are
Yeah.
completely detached, dissociated by normal people, the
Living off
children.
us. Living off us. That's, let's
Yes,
not forget the most important thing. They
parasites,
didn't create
like it
anything
says.
from, it's all from us, all coming from our kitty. They're living like kings and queens when we are the kings and queens.
Yeah,
That is all fake. It tells you how acts of parliament. Who's parliament
exactly.
connected to? The crown. The crown is the crown. It's not the queen. The queen hasn't even got the crown anymore. Mark's got the my judge has got the copyright to the crown. He's got the crown in his possession at the moment. Not the actual crown itself, but the actual contract of the crown. It's not with the queen anymore. He's got the contract with the crown. So at the moment,
Wow.
we're trying our hardest to clean up as much as possible. He's been asked to go on a lot of truthers, but because truth is different to a fact is a fact. The truth, me, you, and Dean, or Matthew, should I say, can sit here and say this bottle's green. You decide green, right, that's green. And we've decided that's green because it's a truth. It takes 3 people to try to make a truth, a trust. Truth all means the same thing.
Three.
The fact, I'm here. This is a fact. No matter what anyone says, I'm a fact. This bottle of water is a fact. It's here. But you can modify a fact and make it a non-fact. I'm going to rip it up, change the label on it, then throw the water out, and now it's not water. So you can modify a fact and make it non-fact, i.e., black man, white man, green man,
You understand
transgender,
why this
non-binary.
this institution that created, they are all pyramids, and pyramids, they are connected with aliens, yeah, entities.
Yeah, yeah,
Triangles, the
yeah,
big eye.
yeah,
If people don't wake up, don't complain. Then you have a mental, oh, then your tablet, then you're stressed, oh, my partner left me. And we're
yeah,
talking about the same soup over and over and over again. So if we want to be in a different level
yeah.
to
Start using this,
and,
guys.
and to be free and use our terms,
You've got to start signing your paperwork like a living woman, living man. Autograph. Cross out that signature word. Let them know. I'm not a dead cursive. I'm not the Walking Dead. That is a cursive language. If your signature is a scribble, you've just given them your dead man's straw man. You've just given them your straw man's signature because that.
so what about when you go to bank, they want to give you a card, they have to sign the signature.
When you do things with the bank, leave your terms and conditions with the bank. Everything you get, you join Facebook, terms and conditions, sign. You join WhatsApp, terms and conditions. Do we read it? No, we sign it. Yeah, we don't know what we're signing, we sign it. They've just said they're taking all our data, they're taking all our, any information is theirs. We've signed for that. We don't read it, we just do it. We're men and women, we're not corporations. Why have we not got our own terms and conditions? If I'm coming into your place of work, I don't expect to fall over the table in the way. I don't expect this to happen. I don't, when I take my kid to school, my kid better come back in one piece. My kid better have this. My kid's not allowed to eat this. My kid's not allowed. Leave your terms and conditions. Otherwise, they will take your children because they think you've got no legal standing. We have to start writing our own terms and conditions for a start, leaving our thumbprint to show that you're a living man and woman, and you leave an autograph to say that this is an authorization graph of my living status.
What about if they refuse?
If
If
they
they refuse
refuse,
your conditions?
they can't refuse an autograph. If they do, you can have them for fraud because that is unhackable. How can you refuse someone's autograph? And what these people are trying to do is they're trying to run because they don't realise that this global federal court has no jurisdiction. Doesn't matter if you're in Australia, doesn't matter if you're in New York, doesn't matter if you're underground. If they need to come for you, the army's going to find you and the navy's going to find you. That is the difference with this task force. We're not just 2 people researching. We're sending the information and we're sending it to the navy. We're sending it to the army. We're making sure that these perpetrators are getting dealt with. There is no passing go. There is no collect £200. It's straight gallows. If you've hurt someone, if you've harmed a child, it's gallows. This is This is the kind of sentence these people or these things need. They can't know that they get two-year prison cell or a padded cell. They need to know if they harm that child, there's a chance they're going to the gallows. The death sentence for that reason alone needs to come back for that, because at the end of the day, you've lost all creation when you harm an innocent baby. You know, you've left your creator. You know, you've left your real creation, because we are humble men and women do not harm each other. We do not steal from each other. We do not kill each other. That's why there's only 3 laws: do not harm, steal, or kill. Everything else is presumption and assumption. Do you know that an armament is a gun, yeah, a weapon, yeah? That armament is a protection tool of your arm, yeah? It's an extension of your arm, hence why it's called armament. If you research what an armament is, the same pictures will come up for a weapon, and the same pictures will come up with an armament. Same guns, same rifles, same handguns, armament weapons. If you say, officer, this is a weapon, you've just given 5 years away of your life to prison. Yeah, you haven't hurt no one, you've just carried something. You just carried it down the road in your pocket as an armament. Yeah, you've not hurt no one, you've not killed no one, but you've got pulled over with that gun now, and they've just given you 5 years for carrying an assaulting weapon. Yeah, you haven't assaulted anyone though. So now you've just given 5 years of your life away, plus £80,000 a year for that cell that you've just earned let's say Sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah, the sheriff, you've just earned him £80,000 a year for that cell that you're sitting in for 5 years, plus you've just lost 5 years of your life. But if you said, no, officer, it is an armament I am carrying, the same as what you're carrying, geometric level playing field, aren't they carrying a weapon? Aren't they carrying an armament? You've just saved yourself 5 years in prison. That's how important the information Mark is giving to the world. Giving. His page has 80% free information on, free source. They commit a 300 on there. You can see all their bank accounts. All the truth is there. It's just for the people to find it. And this is what I'm here for, to try and push them in the right direction, because for a long time I've been going around here, and he's like the holy grail of facts. Sod your truth.
We have to start from, and that is good that you are definitely one of the example that we have to start. We just talking. People says one day this, but nothing happened. So we have to start, and I can see that there are other people like you that already moving, already trying to make changes, community. Yes. In my like little space, I'm spread the word, and obviously I'm so happy to have you tonight. Please. I will going to put information about Janine, and then obviously we're going to have the pleasure to have you next week, maybe next Monday. Well, we're going to talk about some experience that you had with women, and where they have to talk, which are the right people that they have to connect, because many people, they don't know, they don't have information. They are completely forgotten by society. Institutions, they use them, like you says, like guinea pigs. They are taxes, they are energy.
We're batteries, basically. They take our charge. That's what they do. They drain our batteries in any shape, way, and form. So we need to stop letting them drain us and use our energy together to take them down. That's what
definitely. And maybe, and even we're going to speak next time, probably even with the Dean. So next time, maybe, you can give both your, testimonial about what's happened, the witnessing things, and talking real people. And when one day, if it's possible, like I'm going down to London, we're going to see and maybe speak with a few people that they are definitely in the front line.
Exactly, definitely. We'd love to have you as well. Definitely. We're not far from each other. You're like what, an hour and 20 minutes drive? We can make
well, by train, when I'm Paddington, 25, maximum 30 minutes by train.
Okay. Well, when you're ready.
Very easy. Yes, I think September will be because I got my exams. So
Good luck with that. We're going to leave you alone to get on with that. You've got to
get
your head around that.
Yeah, we're going finally to celebrate this massive day for me. And so thank you again, darling. And yes, we speak you soon. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Take care. Stay with me. Stay with me.